know, we got a great state. We got Mount Rainier, we got Lake Chelan, we got the San Juans. But as governor of the state of Washington, I'll say right now, the most beautiful, the most exciting, the most healthiest place to be in the state of Washington, North Creek Forest today. It is such a joy. We do such great things in our state. I just met a woman who's inventing a new way to do chemistry in Bothell to find nanoparticles in Puget Sound. We're building the best software in the world. We're building the best jets in the world. But the most important work we're doing right now for our kids is we're building urban forests right here in North Creek. And it is the most important work because this forest is not just a group of trees. It is a manufacturing plant for clean water. It manufactures clean water in North Creek. It manufactures educational opportunity for these beautiful children so that they can connect with their future in the natural world. And most importantly, with everyone who's holding a cell phone right now, I can tell you this. When you go into North Creek Forest, you can turn off your cell phones and your personal devices and you can enjoy this little rat-a-tat-tat, the pileated woodpecker, which you see on these t-shirts today. Now I like what you've done here as well. If you look at the t-shirt, this young lady right here, you see a pileated woodpecker. The real pileated woodpecker has red on its head. But the volunteers who did the work here, who provided 15,000 hours of volunteer work, they wanted to save money, so they left the red off. We love that efficiency. And we want to thank the citizens of the state of Washington who put in $1 million from our Wilderness Wildlife Trust Fund. And when you talk to legislators, give them the pat on the back because they're going to support a proposal for $100 million this year so we can continue these investments across the state of Washington. Because we want to build these forests across the state of Washington. Now, as I leave the stage, I want to say a word about the volunteers. To help me, Dave, could you come up here? I want to introduce you to Dave Bain. Probably everybody knows him. Come on up here, Dave.
The mic's not working.
The mic is not working. Okay. So there's 15,000 volunteer hours it took to get this forest up and running. And I'd like to honor all of them. Now, every day I get a privilege as governor of the state of Washington. I get to honor the Washingtonian of the day. That's the most inspirational person I meet that day in the state of Washington. When I do, I take off this pin. This is the governor's Washington pin. It's a Washington apple. And I pin it on the Washingtonian of the day. Today, the Washingtonian of the day, in honor of all the volunteers who work here, is Dave Bain. Washingtonian of the day, everybody. Okay, I gotta do this. This may not be the most elegant, but I don't want to poke you. All right. Congratulations. Enjoy your forest. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. So, I have a few remarks here to give, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to the other 4 people. But I'm really excited today to share this forest with you. I think it's really important to understand a little more context about where we're located. So in the city of Bothell, you are inside the urban growth boundary where 2.2 million people, not just in Bothell, but 2.2 million people in Pierce, King, Snohomish County within the urban growth boundary are going to be here. They're going to come here. And things like the North Creek Forest and other preservation efforts that we do now will serve those people hugely in the future. We have treed areas around here. I grew up here my whole life. I played in a forest just like this. There was a hilltop. And I think it's immensely important that kids have access to that close to home. Not everybody has a family car they can go drive outside the urban growth boundary. So having things like this to clean the air, having things like this to clean the water, and having the opportunity to have educational opportunities here, especially with the UW Bothell nearby and Cascadia College, is enormous, and it's going to be something that's going to last for a long, forever, now that the city is managing the property. So with that, I need to switch sides here. So we have quite a few partnerships to recognize. We're grateful for the community groups that have been working for many years to acquire all the property in the North Creek Forest. It started with a grassroots organization called Help Our Woods. Help Our Woods people. There they are. Okay. Which, as an acronym, is HOW. It secured state funding to and recognized the North Creek Forest as a vital element in salmon recovery. And then the city of Bothell, mostly with full engagement by the Friends of North Creek Forest, have been working jointly for a number of years to acquire the other parcels. I should have said how many acres we're talking about here. Is it 63.4 acres, just so we get it accurate. They've been working with the city for many years, writing out grants, usually state funding that has come in. Actually, I think all of it, except for some from Snohomish County, came in. And I don't believe we had any from King County. Did we have some from King County too? Okay. We have a city and community steering committee that's working on a master plan for the forest. The city is committed to continuing to work with the community and our partners as we move forward. And on that note, I would like to introduce Jim Fries, the Friends of North Creek Forest. Jim's here, I'm sure.
Shorter.
We'll come over and see where you're at.
I'm so glad this microphone works. Thank you, Andy. Good morning. Friends of North Creek Forest mission is to maintain and improve the ecological function of North Creek Forest through stewardship, education, and conservation in perpetuity. Our fundamental principle that we began with is all players must win. It includes landowners, institutions of education, the city of Bothell, environmental interests, tribal interests, students, teachers, citizens. Everything we do is to fulfill that mission for today and forever. North Creek Forest is now protected by grants that ensure its existence. Maintaining the ecological diversity of the forest, keeping it free from suffocating invasive species, is an ongoing labor-intensive job. Now more than ever, FNCF has set its course of providing that stewardship by tying it to education. As phase 2 of our mission grows, you're going to see more education and more work parties than ever before. The effort to save this forest mimics nature. It was about relationships of people and organizations, not all parts working with all other parts, but subsystems, each supporting each other, holding up each other where we are weak, connecting to a whole. I have a handful of minutes to thank people we'll be grateful to for the rest of our lives. Because these people place their trust in new friendships, investing their time and money in uncertain outcomes, kept conversations going until we discovered what we had in common. Because of that, we have Bothell's newest and largest parkland. Raise your hand if you hear your name or organization. This is going to go fast because it's real long. Then people can find you and hear your story. Please do. Please recognize and honor all Friends of North Creek Forest board members, past and present. I want to thank specifically our founding officers, Jeannie Robinson, founding president, for your friendship, your great soul, and financial magnetism. Dr. David Bain, founding vice president, for working hundreds of hours with us and listening to ideas, crazy or not, night and day, and for being my friend. Carolyn Fries, my companion, my wife, founding treasurer of Friends of North Creek Forest and the current education chair and tireless forest steward. Ann Goff. All right. Founding secretary for your hard work, friendship, and boundless attention to detail. I want to thank many organizations, and here comes the list, for your encouragement, guidance, and promotion. These include the Northwest Earth Institute out of Portland, whose community level classes bonded us and prepared us for what was to come. The Tulalip tribes, the Central Chapter Washington Native Plant Society, Eastside Audubon, Friends of Hidden River, Clearwater Commons. Told you it was long. Nature Vision. Marie Quasius, are you here? Marie Quasius from the law firm K&L Gates. Amy Broghouse, Mountain to Sound Greenway. Washington Wildlife Recreation Coalition Naturalist Rob Sandlin and former director Hannah Clark. 4. I lost my place. For creating a forest classroom video that put us on the national map as an example of what could be done with a land and water fund. The list of academic professionals, artists, authors, elected leaders, and hundreds of others is too long to relate here, but you're engraved on our website for all to see. But they must include here Mayor Andy Rayom, Bothell City Council, and Parks officials John Keats and former Park Officer Pat Parkhurst. Thank you, John. Conservation of this forest shows that certain land acquisition is a sound investment in education. Indeed, the forest has become a laboratory destined to inspire generations of students in science, art, and literature. Our educational partnerships include University of Washington, Professor Warren Gold, founding board member and creator of the UW Restoration Ecology Network. Professor Amy Lambert. Amy, are you here today? Our current research chair and founding board member, Cascadia College Professor Sadie Rosenthal, for pioneering our first internships. Dr. Ed Castro, are you here? Right there. Dr. Ed Castro and Soundview International Baccalaureate School students. Who are you? Dan Paquette. Dan, are you here? Dan? Oh. Anyway, Dan Paquette, a man with no title, who identified and cataloged over 100 native species of trees, plants, and shrubs. A true wizard of the deep forest. Canyon Creek Elementary, Woodinville Montessori, Maywood Hills Elementary, St. Brendan's, UW Bothell Cascadia. Our financial supporters, the Rose Foundation, Puget Sound Mitigation Fund, the Tulalip Tribes Charitable Trust Fund, Harriet Morton and the Peach Foundation. Harriet, are you still here somewhere? Thank you. God bless you. The Northwest Arboriculture, Blue Heron Services, landowners Eric Campbell, Boy Scouts of America, Jeannie and Tom Robinson, and Marty Freeze. Marty, I saw you somewhere. Right there. Stewardship, last page. Stewardship, again, Soundview International Baccalaureate School, who came to the forest from Linwood 4 to 8 times per year for the past 4 years to turn this blackberry patch into a new forest. Whale Scouts, UW Restoration Ecology Network, the UW Sustainability Organization, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, and the North Shore YMCA. UW Bothell Community-Based Learning and Research Program, the Outdoor Youth Connections, Northwest Horticulture, I'm almost done, King Conservation District, Department of Natural Resources, Eric Adman, Snow King Watershed Council. Every month they're out here doing water quality monitoring, and thousands of students pulling blackberries. Lastly, I want to offer thanks to Help Our Woods and to all who have supported you. You worked for many years to see this day. Your early studies presented to the City Council on applications became a valuable part of every application for a grant. So what now? Everyone here today can support Friends of North Creek Forest through our charter membership program. Our current Executive Director, Emily Sprong, and other staff members and volunteers can tell you more about that. The forest, I must remind you, is not open to the general public until the master plan is complete and enabled, but Friends of North Creek Forest has an agreement with the city to offer a variety of guided tours. They're free. Donations are appreciated. Finally, I'd like to quote a plaque placed on our first restoration site by a student, Tepi Saito from Japan. You'll find it on a trail back here. It says, whether you're born in 1940 or 2140, may you save the children. We saved this for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. So I'd like to introduce Paul Clement from Help Our Woods.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Jim Freeze from Friends of North Creek. Fantastic work and momentum. And thank you to Governor Inslee and Mayor Reum. Folks can say what they want about government, but together we are a great example of citizens' actions rolling up into city, county, and state government support of environmental stewardship. A stewardship we all need. A stewardship we all need. It isn't easy sometimes, as many people here know, but it can be done as evidenced today. It's a great day for the most important intended benefactor, the wildlife of the North Creek Forest. 17 years ago, the year 2000, my wife Sandy Clement began going door to door visiting neighbors in an effort to save the 64-acre forest and its wildlife, which is behind our homes, and we live right up the hill. The acreage was commonly referred to as the Boy Scouts Project, and it was a collection of 5 private properties. And I'm glad to see Marty Freeze over here, a valued neighbor. We've been here for 40 years. His house over here has been here for over 100 years. So thank you, Marty. Naturally enough, there were developers interested in the collection of 5 properties. As the developers geared up efforts, Sandy enlisted the support of our neighbors and friends to keep the forest pristine for the wildlife that live here. She also engaged with the 5 property owners and worked with the Bothell City Council, attending countless meetings over the years. Help Our Woods then became a nonprofit to help pursue the mission of saving the woods while providing tax advantages for donors. In 2006, Help Our Woods engaged a wildlife expert to study the forest and its inhabitants. With this formal documentation, it disproved the documentation developers had provided to the city planners. In fact, it was a very valuable wildlife habitat. In 2007, Help Our Woods engaged a wetlands expert. This expert confirmed the existence of at least 10 distinctive wetlands and several streams within the forest. With this formal documentation, the details of this valuable habitat came into better focus. In 2009, an urban wildlife functional assessment stated that the forest is an active wildlife habitat of high value. In 2011, after months of applying, petitioning, and following up by Help Our Woods, Watershed Resource Inventory Area, boy, that's a mouthful, I've never got it right, WIRA, granted protected status and a new title designation for the forest called North Creek Reach 2 Protect Boy Scouts Project. That was 2011. This constituted official recognition by the Washington State Department of Ecology and was a major milestone in the fight to save the forest. When the city of Bothell decreed that no taxpayer money would go towards preserving the forest, Help Our Woods proceeded to research and contact every granting entity discoverable through countless hours of searching. Last page. It's going to be shorter than Jim's, I promise. Help Our Woods found granting entities, then worked with the city of Bothell to develop an equitable plan dividing a grant request between themselves and the newly formed Friends of North Creek Forest. Having another group working toward the same goal was an exciting development. As you've just heard, Friends of North Creek Forest has contributed immensely to preservation efforts the last number of years. And all the people that Friends of North Creek Forest has organized in the community is just fantastic. Help Our Woods recently gifted the city of Bothell over $50,000 collected through the years of fundraisers and donations from many supporters. Thank you, neighbors. Thank you, friends. And thank you for the matching corporate donations. This is the most hopeful, positive development for the North Creek Forest. Let's keep up the momentum and the involvement. And Jim and company, insane, incredible, great momentum. Thank you. The Help Our Woods Board of Directors are President Sandy Clement and Vice President Don McCravey, Secretary Eric Christensen, and Treasurer Vera Kelly. And David Bain was a part of Help Our Woods and Friends of the North Creek for years, so much deserved from the governor. Help Our Woods wishes to sincerely thank every neighbor and friend of the wildlife and wetlands for their undying support in this endeavor. There are lessons for each of you here today, as well as other communities. It can start with one person with passion for good. One person, that could be you. And you need a passion for involving others. And that's what the community has done so well, involving others, and with Friends of North Creek and Help Our Woods. 17 years later, here we are today. It can be done. It has been done. Thank you, everybody.
At council meetings, I have this buzzer that goes off when people go 3 minutes. So it's my phone or something. Just kidding. Okay, so thank you, Paul. Next, I'm introducing Deborah Jensen, Board Chair from Washington Wildlife and Recreation Coalition.
It is a fantastic turnout this morning. I'm here as the chair of the board of the Washington Wildlife Recreation Coalition. We are a statewide nonprofit organization that's a coalition of 280 organizations, all of which are passionate about the state of Washington and protecting conservation lands and recreation lands for us and for our children and for future generations. 27 years ago, we banded together to create a trust fund, that pot of money that the governor mentioned, the Washington Wildlife and Recreation Program, to make it possible for communities like this to protect lands and waters and to make recreation opportunities for the state. And now there are communities of people like yourselves all over the state of Washington who are working to get projects protected. I asked our director, Kayleen Cottingham, who's here with us today. She runs the program for the governor. So how many of these projects do you support every biennium, a 2-year, the state's budget is 2 years? She said, I don't know exactly, but more than 100. So you guys are part of a network of colleagues. Even though you don't know each other, there's communities of people like you all around the state, and they would just ask me to say congratulations to all of you, because you've pulled off a really wonderful thing here, not just for these IB students, but for many, many, many students. And I'd also want to remind you that, as it's been said many times, it's a network of people, it's a network of institutions, and it's a network of funders. And you have made yourselves known to your mayors and to your senators. And so both Senator Murray and Senator Cantwell are supporters of this project, and they helped us get funding from the federal source of funds for projects like this, the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And I was reminded by one of our board members here, we've got a little cohort of board members for the coalition around you, that we also work together with you to help you get that federal funding. And so it's a big village that works together to make sure our state stays such a spectacular place to live, and to make sure our children continue to learn why Washington is so special. So congratulations. I'm so grateful that I could be here and enjoy the celebrations. Some of what we do is to talk politely to the legislature about why it's very important to keep these kind of funds in the capital budget. And the Senate was more polite to talk to you this year than the House has been. And I can talk to you in deep depth about that, because as the governor would tell you, we don't have a budget yet. The governor's been incredibly supportive of this program, and we're grateful to be here to celebrate. Thank you and congratulations. Congratulations.